received numerous 911 calls of shots fired in a residential neighborhood. As officers were arriving in this neighborhood, they heard additional gunshots coming from the residence and also observed that the residence was engulfed in flames. There were numerous people that were exiting the residence and meeting with the officers as the officers were approaching the house, and they were told that a person had come to the house dressed at a local hospital suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. A third victim was transported with a non-life-threatening injury but not a gunshot wound to another local hospital. A cursory search of the burned-out residence, we've located at least 3 bodies inside the residence. We do not know the cause of death at this time of those 3 persons. We are currently looking for a person of interest, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo. He's described as a male white, approximately 45 years of age, 6'3", 250 pounds, brown hair, and blue eyes. We do not know what kind of vehicle he left the location in at this time. We are asking for anybody who witnessed this crime or knows the whereabouts of Mr. Pardo to call the Canadian Police Department.
What is the relationship between Mr. Pardo and the homeowner or some of the victims at this time?
Currently, we know that Mr. Pardo is going through some type of marital problems, and we believe that this residence is a relative's residence.
Witnesses reported hearing some sort of explosion, and some people describe it as the source of a Molotov cocktail. Can you confirm that? Is that the case?
We have heard the same information, although we have not been able to confirm that.
Do you know how many shots he may have fired when he first walked into the home?
We don't know how many shots were fired, although we do have 911 telephone calls with shots being fired in the background of the calls, and we do have officers that heard gunfire when they arrived, so we assume there was quite a few.
And we know that someone in the house was related to him. He went to this party. The man you said had a problem, marital problem. There was someone at the party related to him.
We do not know that right now, though.
What type of gun was it?
We don't know that.
Was he wearing a Santa suit at the time of the crime, but did he change after?
The information that we have from some of the witnesses was that he arrived wearing a Santa Claus outfit and then upon leaving changed into regular street clothes.
Walk us through when the officers arrived. It sounds like it was chaotic. They got to the scene. Was the house on fire at the time? Was there still shots going on at the same time, or what was going on?
The house is located at the end of a very long cul-de-sac street. When the officers arrived at the cross street to that street is when they heard the gunfire. As they made their way down the street on foot is when they saw that the house was engulfed in flames. They do not believe that they were fired upon while approaching the house. And then once they got to the house is when they were able to call the fire department in to extinguish the fire.
You've had the chance to meet with the family, I believe. What is their reaction? What is their mood at this time?
I have not personally spoken to any family members.
Okay.
How do you know Mr. Pardo? Why is he the person of interest? What's because of the marital situation or because someone identified him?
There were people at the party who gave us his name.
Do you know where he is at this point, where he's from, where people should be on the lookout for him?
His last known residence was in the La Crescenta Montrose area, but he does have several previous addresses, and we are currently have investigators in those areas of Montrose and also in the city of Laverne looking for leads as to his whereabouts.
And just to repeat, he's a person of interest, but is he armed and dangerous at this point?
Considered armed and dangerous. He's a person of interest at this point. We believe that later on this morning we will change that to a suspect in this matter.
But again, Mr. McCann, just to be clear, you said people gave officers his name. Did they actually see him say that was him, he was the guy that came in with the gun?
We've been interviewing people who have given us his name, although we have yet to interview anyone who saw him directly.
Lieutenant, have you been able to identify the deceased? Are they family members, male
Any of the people inside the house, we have not been able to identify them.
Have you had any situations at that home before, any calls out there, any domestic stuff?
No, we have not. We have no call activity at that residence whatsoever.
There were reports of a Molotov cocktail. Was there any?
We've heard the same reports. We have not been able to verify that.
Any other possible source for the explosion?
Not that I've been able to see, but I have also not talked to any of the arson or LA County fire personnel.
But there was some sort of explosion after the shots were fired.
There was some source of ignition that caused the fire. We just don't know what that is at this point.
Do you know how many people were at the party? And basically just a Christmas party, family Christmas, neighbors,
As we
friends?
understand it was a Christmas Eve party. We do not know the number of people there. We're actually trying to find that out so we can contact all of those persons, locate them, and see if they're safe.
How does this compare to the type of crimes that you guys have seen around this time of year? Is it unusual? Is it particularly shocking?
Extremely unusual and very shocking. It's just not something we see here at any time of the year, especially during Christmas.